response to Stephan Molyneux' video, You Need Government, Freedom is Slavery. I've been giving anarchism some very serious thought, like intellectual anarchism, the way that Molyneux outlines it. And I've been reading Chomsky's On Anarchism to understand the liberal side of the political ideology, which would make a lot of libertarians' heads explode because Chomsky is such an unapologetic liberal. But I wanted to respond to an analogy that Molyneux made in his video, the one posted today. Now, and I've heard this analogy before, and it really bothers me. And I'm not saying that governments are perfect or that governments, are even wholly defensible in this regard. But the analogy goes something like this. An instructor in a course at a university decides to do a grade distribution style program where students' grades are equalized, meaning people on the top will be brought to the median, people on the bottom will be brought to the median. If you made an A+, you might be brought down to a B, B-. If you made a D, you could be brought up to a C+. And the analogy goes that in that environment, the people who are working harder will not continue to work hard. The people who should fail the course will pass. The university's reputation will be completely destroyed. I mean, yes, the actual analogy does work fairly well, but there's a little bit of a problem when you compare it to governments. You're comparing grades and marks given in a pedagogical environment. You're comparing that to an economy. And I hate to break this to you, Stephan, but grades are not money. Grades cannot be traded. Grades can't be bartered. It's not a free market. So, when you're trying to impose a free market system on a classroom, you're making a really poor analogy when you do that. Because, like I said, I mean, when students earn grades, that's not something that even has a market value added to it. That's a very, very different type of environment. So to use that as some type of comment on the market in general, you are way off base. There are plenty of examples where people work very hard to provide for a society, where people, don't just offer up their labor for their personal gain, but they actually would like to contribute to the well-being of everyone in the group. So, if you're going to criticize and yes, by all means, I mean, I'm very much on the side of Chomsky in the issue that entrenched power is, I mean, I would say almost 95% of the time it is illegitimate, and it is problematic, and it is corrupt, so I am not arguing your premise. But that analogy, I'm sorry, that is an awful analogy. I mean, even you have to see that.